After 70, protecting your brain is not just about doing more. It's about quietly avoiding hidden dangers that most people don't even notice. Doctors warn that many innocent, everyday habits slowly weaken memory, thinking speed, and emotional stability without any early symptoms. You might think you're doing everything right, but if even one of these habits is part of your daily life, your brain could be aging faster than it should. The damage is often silent at first, but it builds up year after year until it becomes nearly impossible to reverse. Let's protect your mind before it's too late. If you care about staying sharp, independent, and strong after 70, make sure you subscribe, like, and share this video with others you love. Small changes today could add extra years of clear thinking and joyful living tomorrow. Your brain deserves every bit of protection you can give it. Skipping breakfast may not seem serious, but doctors explain it's one of the most dangerous mistakes seniors can quietly make for their brain health. After 60, your brain becomes far more sensitive to small changes in nutrition. Studies show that when seniors skip their morning meal, they starve their brain of the glucose it urgently needs to perform even simple tasks. Memory becomes slower, focus drifts more easily, reaction times dull without any obvious early warning. Over time, this slowdown quietly paves the way for deeper, more permanent cognitive decline. Experts explain that breakfast isn't just about filling the stomach. It signals the start of the body's daily repair cycle. When the body doesn't receive enough fuel in the morning, it shifts into a mild stress mode. The brain, sensing an energy shortage, begins rationing resources. Studies show this can lead to inflammation inside the brain's tiny blood vessels. Inflammation, even low-grade, speeds up the damage linked to dementia, stroke, and long-term memory loss in seniors. Doctors have observed that seniors who skip breakfast regularly often show earlier signs of memory lapses. They misplace items. More often, they struggle to recall names or appointments. At first, it feels like harmless forgetfulness, but researchers warn it's actually the brain sending distress signals. It's struggling without the steady energy it needs to maintain healthy communication between brain cells. Left uncorrected, this pattern silently weakens critical memory pathways over time. Skipping breakfast also causes dangerous shifts in blood sugar levels. Experts explain that when the body goes too long without food, blood sugar crashes. The brain depends almost entirely on steady blood sugar for energy. When levels drop too low, it triggers confusion, anxiety, irritability, and slower thinking. Seniors who start the day without breakfast are more likely to experience sudden mood swings, poor decision-making, and an increased risk of minor accidents and falls, all because the brain is operating under fuel strain. But the dangers grow even bigger. Researchers warn that repeated blood sugar crashes force the body to release stress hormones like cortisol. Elevated cortisol over time damages the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for learning and memory. Seniors who live with chronic morning stress, even silent stress caused by missing breakfast, are far more vulnerable to depression, faster brain shrinkage, and the early stages of Alzheimer's disease. Doctors also note that seniors who skip breakfast often make poor food choices later in the day. Without that early anchor meal, the body craves quick fixes, high sugar, high fat foods that further inflame the brain and damage blood vessels. This vicious cycle quietly chips away at both physical and mental health, raising the risk of obesity, diabetes, and high blood pressure, all powerful drivers of brain aging after 60. Thankfully, the solution is simple and life-changing. Studies show that seniors who eat even a light, balanced breakfast, something as simple as a piece of fruit, some whole grains, and a little protein, protect their brain health dramatically over time. They maintain sharper memories, steadier moods, and stronger resilience against cognitive decline. A healthy breakfast sends a clear signal to the body. You are nourished, you are safe, and your brain can work at its best. Remember, caring for your brain doesn't always require major sacrifices. Sometimes it's as simple as starting each day with kindness to your body. Choose to nourish yourself first thing in the morning. Your future self will thank you for every small, loving step you take today. Sitting for hours without moving may feel harmless, but doctors explain it's one of the most dangerous habits quietly attacking brain health after 60. Studies show that long periods of sitting slow down blood circulation dramatically. When blood flow weakens, less oxygen and fewer nutrients reach the brain. Without fresh oxygen, brain cells begin to suffer in silence. Experts warn that over time, this slow, steady starvation damages memory, focus, and even emotional balance, without any clear symptoms until the harm is already deep. Researchers have observed that seniors who stay seated for long stretches experience faster brain shrinkage compared to those who move regularly. The brain, like a living garden, needs a steady supply of oxygen and nutrients to thrive. Without movement, blood vessels stiffen, small clots can begin to form, tiny blockages develop, preventing critical areas of the brain from getting the energy they desperately need. These silent changes are often the first step toward cognitive decline, dementia, and even stroke. Doctors explain that after only 30 minutes of uninterrupted sitting, blood flow to the brain slows measurably. Over hours, the effect becomes more pronounced. Seniors who spend most of the day seated, whether reading, watching TV, or even doing puzzles, slowly starve their brain cells. Experts have found that these silent blood flow reductions can speed up the loss of gray matter, the part of the brain responsible for memory, decision-making, and problem-solving. But it doesn't stop there. When the brain receives less oxygen, it struggles to clear away waste products. Studies show that inactivity weakens the brain's natural cleaning system. Harmful proteins, including those linked to Alzheimer's disease, are less efficiently removed when the body stays still. Over months and years, these waste products accumulate, quietly setting the stage for memory loss, confusion, and emotional instability. Doctors have also observed that sitting for hours increases inflammation throughout the entire body, including the brain. Chronic inflammation is now known to be one of the major drivers of brain aging and neurological disease. Seniors who sit too long experience a double threat: less oxygen reaching their brain, and more harmful inflammation damaging brain tissue. Experts stress that it's not just about exercise. It's about breaking up long periods of sitting. Studies show that standing up and moving, even lightly, every 30 minutes helps restore blood flow to the brain, reducing risk dramatically. Gentle stretches, walking across the room, or even simply standing and moving the arms can restart circulation and protect brain health. Doctors explain that it's not intensity but frequency that matters most for seniors. The dangerous thing is that sitting feels safe, feels comfortable. Yet inside the body, silent damage is happening minute by minute. Seniors who break up sitting time not only protect their memory and mental sharpness, but also boost mood, energy, and independence for years to come. The good news is it's never too late to make small changes that save your brain. Moving regularly sends a powerful message to your body. Keep growing, keep healing, keep thriving. Remember, every time you stand up, you are not just stretching your legs. You are giving your brain a second chance to stay alive, sharp, and strong. Take those steps today. Your future self is depending on you. Not drinking enough water may seem like a small mistake, but doctors warn it's one of the most dangerous hidden threats to brain health after 70. Studies show that even mild dehydration can cause brain tissue to shrink, making thinking slower, memory weaker, and reaction times longer. This damage happens quietly, often before a senior even feels thirsty. By the time thirst is noticed, researchers explain, the brain is already struggling. Experts have observed that the brain is made up of about 75% water. Every thought, every memory, every decision relies on fluid balance to function properly. When seniors don't drink enough, this balance tips. Brain cells lose their efficiency. Communication between neurons slows down. Simple tasks feel harder. Concentration fades. Names, dates, and memories slip away more easily. Doctors have explained that chronic low-level dehydration doubles the risk of developing dementia over time. Worse still, studies show that dehydration thickens the blood, making it harder for the heart to pump blood to the brain. Sluggish blood flow means less oxygen reaches the brain's vital areas. Silent areas of the brain start to lose strength. Over months and years, this weakens critical functions like memory, decision-making, and emotional stability. Researchers have connected poor hydration habits with higher rates of mini-strokes, silent strokes, and major strokes, especially in seniors over 70. The signs of dehydration-related brain damage are often subtle at first. Doctors explain that seniors may feel a little more tired, a little more forgetful, a little more confused. These early warning signs are often dismissed as normal aging, but they are not. In many cases, they are direct signals from a struggling, thirsty brain. Without enough water, the brain cannot clear away waste products efficiently either. Harmful proteins, like those linked to Alzheimer's disease, build up faster in a dehydrated brain. Researchers stress that drinking enough water throughout the day keeps the blood thinner, the brain plumper, and the communication lines between brain cells fast and strong. Water is not just a comfort. It's essential fuel for memory, learning, and protecting emotional health. Seniors who stay properly hydrated have been shown to enjoy better focus, sharper memory, and lower risks of depression and anxiety. Doctors have observed that many seniors accidentally drink too little because their sense of thirst becomes weaker with age. Waiting to feel thirsty is dangerous after 70. By the time thirst is noticed, dehydration is already affecting the brain and body. Experts encourage a simple habit: sipping small amounts of water consistently, even if you don't feel thirsty. Drinking enough water also affects balance and coordination. Dehydration increases the risk of falls by slowing reflexes and weakening muscle control. For seniors, a fall can be devastating, leading to broken bones, long hospital stays, and permanent loss of independence. Protecting the brain through hydration also helps protect the body's ability to move safely and confidently. The good news is that fixing this dangerous habit is simple. Few extra glasses of water each day can literally save your memory, your mobility, and your independence. Every sip strengthens your brain's ability to heal, remember, and protect itself. Today, take a moment to honor the needs of your amazing brain. Keep it nourished, keep it alive, keep it thriving. Your future memories, your sharpness, and your vibrant life after 70 depend on it. Eating processed foods daily may feel convenient, but doctors warn it's one of the fastest ways to damage brain health after 70. Studies show that processed foods, like packaged snacks, frozen dinners, fast foods, and sugary cereals, are loaded with hidden salts, sugars, and unhealthy fats that quietly harm blood vessels and block critical nutrients from reaching the brain. This silent damage often builds up long before any symptoms appear. Experts explain that the brain relies on a constant flow of oxygen, vitamins, and antioxidants to stay strong. Processed foods strip away these essentials. Instead of feeding the brain what it needs, they flood the body with harmful additives that inflame blood vessels, reduce blood flow, and weaken the brain's ability to heal. Over time, doctors have observed that seniors who consume processed foods daily face a much higher risk of memory loss, brain fog, depression, and even Alzheimer's disease. One of the biggest dangers comes from the type of fat hidden inside these foods. Studies show that processed foods often contain trans fats and chemically altered oils. These fats are not recognized by the body as natural. Instead of nourishing brain cells, they gum up the communication pathways between neurons. Doctors explain that this slow, sticky damage weakens thinking speed, reduces focus, and gradually kills off critical brain cells needed for memory and learning. Hidden sugars inside processed foods pose an even greater threat. Researchers have shown that excess sugar causes chronic inflammation throughout the body, especially inside the delicate blood vessels of the brain. Over time, high sugar intake leads to insulin resistance, where the brain becomes less able to use energy properly. Experts warn that this silent change is now being called type 3 diabetes, a condition directly linked to Alzheimer's disease. Salt is another hidden enemy. Processed foods are often packed with shocking amounts of sodium. far beyond what the body needs. Too much salt stiffens arteries, raises blood pressure, and starves the brain of fresh, healthy blood flow. Doctors have observed that seniors with high sodium intake show faster brain shrinkage and cognitive decline compared to those who eat fresher, less processed foods. Even worse, processed foods often lack the protective nutrients that the brain desperately needs after 70. Vitamins like B12, folate, and antioxidants like vitamin E are critical to protect brain cells from aging. Without them, the brain is left exposed to daily stress, free radical damage, and silent degeneration. Experts stress that seniors who replace processed foods with whole, natural foods show stronger memory, better mood, and slower aging of the brain. The damage from processed foods is sneaky. It doesn't cause immediate pain or obvious symptoms. Instead, it slowly chips away at brain function year after year until serious problems appear. Many seniors only realize the harm after memory struggles, confusion, or emotional changes have already set in, but there is real hope. Doctors explain that the brain has an amazing ability to heal if given the right nourishment. Reducing processed foods even by half can lower inflammation, restore healthy blood flow, and spark brains repair within weeks. Simple changes like fresh vegetables, fruits, healthy fats, and clean proteins can rebuild and protect brain power at any age. Tonight, think about what your brain deserves. Not just survival, but thriving. Every small choice you make at the table can either feed disease or feed vitality. Protect your brain. Choose life-giving foods. Your memories, your joy, and your independence are worth it. Sleeping with the TV or lights on might seem harmless, even comforting, but doctors warn it quietly damages the brain in ways many seniors never notice until it's too late. Studies show that the human brain depends on full darkness at night to trigger the production of melatonin, a powerful hormone that not only helps with sleep, but also repairs and protects brain cells. When lights are left on, even dim ones, melatonin production drops sharply, leaving the brain vulnerable at the exact time it needs the most healing. Experts explain that melatonin acts like a night shift worker for the brain. It clears away waste, repairs damaged cells, and strengthens neural connections during deep sleep. Without enough melatonin, the brain cannot clean itself properly. Doctors have observed that seniors who sleep with the television on, or even a nightlight too close to the bed, suffer from significantly poorer brain repair overnight. Over time, this builds up into problems with memory, thinking speed, and emotional balance. One of the most troubling findings is how nighttime light exposure raises the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Researchers show that when melatonin levels stay low for long periods, the brain's ability to flush out toxic proteins like beta amyloid weakens. These toxic buildups are a known driver of Alzheimer's disease. Doctors stress that seniors who allow light to interfere with their sleep cycle face a much higher chance of cognitive decline, even if they don't notice anything wrong for years. But it's not just about long-term memory loss. Studies also show that seniors who sleep with the TV or lights on experience more shallow, disrupted sleep overall. Instead of reaching the deep, restorative stages of sleep that repair the brain, the body stays trapped in lighter stages, tossing and turning without full recovery. Experts explain that this poor quality sleep leads to daytime fogginess, slower reaction times, and a greater risk of falls and injuries, dangers that can threaten independence after 60. Heart health also takes a silent hit. Doctors have observed that artificial light at night keeps the body's stress response partially activated, even during sleep. This hidden stress leads to higher nighttime blood pressure, faster heart rates, and more strain on aging arteries. Over months and years, this constant pressure increases the risk of heart attacks and strokes, especially among seniors who already have heart disease or diabetes. The sad truth is that many seniors don't realize the danger because the effects are invisible at first. One night with the TV on doesn't seem to matter, but night after night, year after year, the damage quietly builds until memory slips, confusion grows, and the body weakens without clear warning signs. The good news is, that this is a danger that can be easily fixed. Doctors explain that even small changes, like turning off the TV before sleep and using blackout curtains, can immediately boost melatonin levels. Within days, seniors often experience deeper sleep, better morning clarity, and more stable mood and energy. Over time, these small steps can protect the brain's delicate networks, helping to preserve memory, balance, and independence for years longer. Tonight, protect your brain by giving it what it needs most: darkness, quiet, and time. To heal, a peaceful night's sleep is not just a luxury after 70. It's a powerful act of self-care, one that your future self will thank you for. Turn off the lights, turn off the TV, and turn on the healing your brain deserves. Isolation might feel like a small choice at first, skipping a gathering, letting a phone call go unanswered. But doctors warn it can cause serious, silent damage to the brain after 60. Studies show that regular conversation and social connection are as vital to brain health as good food and exercise. When seniors withdraw from friends and family, even without realizing it, critical brain networks responsible for memory, learning, and emotional strength begin to shrink. Experts explain that human brains are built for interaction. Every conversation, every shared story, lights up pathways that strengthen memory, sharpen attention, and boost emotional resilience. When those conversations stop, those same brain pathways weaken. Doctors have observed that seniors who isolate experience faster memory loss, slower thinking, and even changes in personality over time. It often starts so quietly that many people don't notice until small slips, like forgetting words, losing track of time, or feeling confused, become frequent. Research shows that loneliness acts almost like a chronic illness in the body. Scientists have found that seniors who feel isolated show higher levels of inflammation in the brain. This silent inflammation wears down neurons, the delicate cells that carry thoughts, memories, and emotions. Over months and years, the damage builds until thinking becomes foggy, memory gaps widen, and emotional balance becomes harder to maintain. Loneliness is not just a feeling. It is a real, biological threat to brain health. The heart suffers too. Doctors explain that isolation triggers higher stress hormone levels, like cortisol, throughout the day and night. Elevated cortisol quietly raises blood pressure, stiffens arteries, and exhausts the heart muscle. Studies show that seniors who experience chronic loneliness have a much greater risk of heart attacks, strokes, and sudden cardiac events. And because isolation can quietly worsen sleep quality, digestion, and immune strength, it leaves the entire body more vulnerable to illness and faster aging. What makes isolation even more dangerous is how deceptively safe it feels. Many seniors tell themselves, "I'm just tired today," or "I'll call tomorrow," not realizing that day after day, the distance grows. The less often the brain practices conversation, memory, and emotional connection, the harder it becomes to return. Doctors have observed that seniors who lose their social ties even report higher rates of depression, anxiety, and hopelessness, all of which further accelerate brain decline. But there is hope. Studies show that it is never too late to reconnect. Even simple steps, like chatting with a neighbor, calling a family member, joining a small community group, or volunteering, can rapidly rebuild lost brain strength. Doctors explain that consistent, meaningful interaction acts like exercise for the brain, strengthening old networks and even forming new ones, helping to protect memory, thinking speed, and emotional resilience. Protecting your brain after 60 isn't only about what you eat or how much you move. It's also about who you talk to, who you laugh with, and who reminds you that you matter. Connection is medicine. Conversation is exercise. Friendship is fuel for a long, sharp, joyful life. If you have been feeling distant, tonight is the time to change that story. One call, one visit, one warm moment of connection. Your brain and your heart are waiting for you to come back to life. Multitasking might feel like a smart way to keep up with everything, but doctors warn it can secretly harm the aging brain far more than most seniors realize. Studies show that the human brain, especially after 60, needs focused attention to stay strong, sharp, and healthy. When seniors constantly switch between tasks, the brain is forced to split its energy again and again, creating tiny fractures in memory, decision-making, and emotional balance. Experts explain that every time you jump from one activity to another, whether it's watching TV while answering messages, sorting mail while cooking, or checking news while talking on the phone, the brain experiences what scientists call attention residue. This means a part of your mind stays stuck on the previous task, even when you believe you've moved on. Over time, doctors have observed that this split focus weakens short-term memory, slows thinking speed, and increases mental fatigue, especially in seniors. Researchers show that the damage builds quietly. The more often a senior's brain is asked to jump between tasks, the harder it becomes to focus deeply on anything. Multitasking trains the brain to expect constant interruption, making it difficult to finish thoughts, follow conversations, or remember simple details like why you walked into a room or where you put your glasses. Studies have even linked heavy multitasking with greater risk of developing mild cognitive impairment and, later, more serious forms of dementia. But memory isn't the only thing at risk. Doctors explain that multitasking also drains emotional energy. Constant mental switching triggers low-level stress responses inside the body, raising cortisol, the main stress hormone, even when you don't feel stressed. This quiet rise in cortisol damages brain areas responsible for decision-making and emotional control. Seniors who multitask heavily often report feeling more irritable, overwhelmed, and anxious without knowing why. Physical health suffers too. Multitasking during important activities like eating, walking, or even exercising means the brain pays less attention to posture, balance, and breathing. Experts explain that this distraction increases the risk of falls, poor digestion, and even hidden spikes in blood pressure. Seniors who habitually multitask have been found to experience faster physical fatigue and slower recovery after simple daily tasks. Many seniors tell themselves, "I've been multitasking my whole life," but studies show that the aging brain becomes much less able to recover from divided attention after 60. What once seemed harmless in younger years quietly becomes a serious risk with age. Doctors have observed that seniors who practice deep, single-focused activities, like reading, gardening, sewing, or even having a quiet conversation, maintain stronger memory, better emotional stability, and sharper decision-making far longer than those who multitask all day. The hopeful news is that even small changes can protect the brain. Studies show that setting aside dedicated time for one activity at a time, without background noise, screens, or constant interruptions, can begin to heal fractured attention pathways. Experts explain that this strengthens not only memory but also emotional resilience, helping seniors stay independent and vibrant longer into life. Tonight, give your brain the kindness it has earned. Focus fully on your dinner. Listen completely to a loved one. Read a few pages of a book with no distractions. Each single task is a gift of healing to your mind. After 60, every moment of true focus you choose becomes an investment in a stronger, sharper, and happier future.